Hi guys, here's another page in my traveler's notebook. Warning, this one does not go as planned. I had this idea that when I saw this little tag stamp that came in the June Studio Calico Planner Kit, I had this idea that I could do a whole page of like repeat tag stamping and then have my photo as a larger size tag. And so that's where I started out. That was my idea. And you'll see it doesn't all go according to plan. So I'm trimming down my photo and I'm trying to make it roughly twice the size of the tag stamp. And then I'm just going to trim the little edges off the corners to make it look like a tag. So far so good. Now I'm just going to choose a paper, and I thought this one went really nicely with the colours, and actually both sides worked really nicely. So I'm just using the photo as a template to cut out another larger size piece of that paper, and that's where my journaling's going to go. And so now I'm going to start the repeat stamping. Now it was hard to get the stamp onto the block in the first place, which maybe I should have taken as a sign. Because it's not filled in the middle, it's really hard to get the edges straight. So I just start by stamping a couple of columns of these little tags, and I'm going to put my photo here so it just sits there, and then I'm going to do the second column underneath. Just using a piece of scrap paper anytime I go off the edge of the page, and just to mask the photo so I can take the stamping all the way up. And then I'm going to stick down this piece for my journaling. And then this is where I make my mistake. Then I start on the other side of the sheet. So by the time I go back to fill in the pieces above it, nothing's lining up, everything's uneven. I wanted the tags to be offset from each other, and now they're almost in rows. And normally, you know, I would try and work with it, but I decided to stop right here. Pull up the bits that I could pull up and start again. So luckily I hadn't used too much glue on my photo or my tag shape. So I'm just flicking over a few pages and then I can start again. So I'm starting again with the two columns of stamping and then adding my tag shape and my photo in exactly the same way that I did before. And again using the piece of scrap paper to mask off the shape. Now where I'm changing my routine here is I'm making sure to carry on from left to right and making sure that I'm offsetting those tag stamps. And so this is more how I wanted it to be. So I'm just going to carry on in that same way. I do make a tiny mistake here as I start on the left instead of carrying on from one side to the other. So then to try and fit these ones into the middle, it is a little bit squishy. And then I'm going to repeat that exact same process, although it is slightly easier on this side, not having to go around those larger tags. And then once I have both sides of my notebook covered in tag stamps, I can carry on. Just stamping one of the same stamps onto the back of that paper so I can cut it out, and I'll use that as a guide because what I want to do is fill in a few of these tag stamps on the page with some of the pattern paper. So I'm just going through and trimming out a few of them. I'm not really sure how many I wanted, so I'm just sort of placing them as I go until I decide I've had enough. But what I do work out is that I do want both sides of the paper. Because I've used that pink side down on the bottom for the larger tag, I do want to echo that pattern around the page as well. So I thought I might only have sort of 3 of these little tags, and in the end I've decided I probably want 5 or 6. I think I've gone with 5. So I've got 3 of the darker blue paper and technically 3 of the pink paper, although one of them is that larger tag. And I've just scattered them around in a visually pleasing way, and then I can glue them down, and I'll just trim off the 2 that are overhanging the page. Just using the tiny little yes stamp with the Brilliance Moonlight White ink on my photo as, I guess, the title for this page. It's as much of a title as this page is going to get. And then I just felt like the stamped tags on the page just needed a little something extra, so I've grabbed a few inks that coordinate with those papers, and I'm just adding in the top part of the tag stamps that came in the kit as well. So I've got like a tealy blue colour, a darker blue, and I grabbed this pink, but I just tested it on paper first because I thought it's a little too warm, like it's a really warm pink, and the pinks in the paper are quite on the cool side. So I tried a different pink ink, which works best on a second stamping. So I'm just stamping it off first on that same scrap piece of paper before I stamp it down. And now finally I've actually got my background finished. I'm just adding 2 really simple lines of journaling, just typed them out on my typewriter, and I'm going to stick them onto the pink tag nearer the bottom. And that is this page all done. So it wasn't exactly how I thought it would be, and it did take me a couple of goes, but I got there in the end. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and as always, there's a couple more videos on screen if you want to keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!